Welcome back to the Last Word podcast. As always, I'm Jay.
And I'm Rabbit.
Thank you, everyone, for listening. Obviously, this is the first podcast in a while, which we will talk about just here in a second. But before we do that, reminder to like, comment, and subscribe everywhere, wherever you're on. Make sure you do that. Keep in touch, because if we ever do take a break, you can keep in touch that way and still see what's going on with us, because we do other things other than just straight up podcasts. So go ahead and do that and keep in touch. And also, quick reminder, we still have some serious construction going on right around our apartment. It's crazy. I mean, you can probably hear the truck going by right now.
It's annoying for us just to have to live here, to try to record a podcast right now. It's gonna happen. It's gonna be in there.
Yep. So you're gonna hear construction and dogs barking and all kinds of shit. Just so you know.
Yeah, this is our life.
This is our life now. We're stuck in some weird kind of purgatory. It's not too bad. We have food and stuff, so that's nice.
Do we have food?
Yeah. Video games and
we have
shit like that. We can record a podcast,
games.
so it's not. I mean, it's not hell, I guess. Just the constant construction around us, and somehow us not being able to leave. Every time we step outside the door, we're on like Mars, and there's sandworms trying to kill us.
It's true.
Anyway.
Exactly what it is.
Anyway, let's talk about the break a little bit. Obviously, we haven't been here for a while. How long has it been? Probably like a month or so?
Yeah, month, a little longer. I think we recorded a podcast like at the beginning of June? Was it?
I don't even remember, to be honest.
Yeah, I don't remember either, but we talked about the friend or the ex-friend that we saw in Walmart that ran away from us.
Right. The past of Last Word and when we were Last Word Apparel.
Yeah. So I think that was our last podcast, and then we didn't record again until literally today. We did it for not just a couple of reasons, quite a few reasons, just because, nothing else happened. There wasn't anything else that was really significant for us to talk about in a podcast. So we just, we didn't, and we took the pressure off of ourselves too. We said that it's okay if we don't record. It's okay if we don't have a story or, things to talk about, because that's just kind of the state of our world. And it's okay to not record something. So we just took the entire time off, and we decided, not to put so much pressure on ourselves, no stress, and I think it worked out really well.
Yeah, I think it worked out as well. But at first, for me, it was more of a struggle. Like, I wasn't relaxing that whole time. You know what I mean? Like, I was really struggling with the fact that we weren't recording, the fact that I couldn't think of anything to talk about, and at the same time, there was nothing I wanted to talk about. I mean, the last episode we were going to make, we were going to talk about, something that happened right as we were going to record was the murder of George Floyd. Yeah. And everything that happened before that and after that and all of that stuff. And that really wasn't an episode that I wanted to make.
Yeah, we talked about it. It was getting really to that point, like, we were going to go like every other week. That's how we were going to start it. And it was getting around that point that we needed to record. You and I already talked about, our topics, our talking points, getting ready to record that episode, and, all the protests and rioting started and all of that stuff. And we were angry enough to get on the mic and start talking about it.
Yeah.
But then it just kind of like, it changed a little bit for both of us, where we were both kind of like, or at least for me, like, I was exhausted to talk about it. And not that it shouldn't be, and this isn't where the episode's going to go. And I think we should say that at this point, we're not going to specifically talk about George Floyd. It is tragic. It is terrible. We support Black Lives Matter and defunding the police, but we're not going to really just get into some of that, that really deep kind of like dark stuff.
Well, yeah, we said what we... Again, if you follow us on other platforms, we said what we wanted to there. We did our things, we made our stories, we donated what we wanted to, and that I think that's going to be, like, we'll continue to speak out against it, but will we make a whole podcast dedicated to it? I don't think we will, just because right now it's just not where I want to be.
Right.
That
well,
makes sense.
I saw it. It's been done before.
Yeah.
And not that our voices would be insignificant or not mean anything. It's just like, it's been done before.
Yeah.
We've seen at least like every single podcast or show that we watch mention it at least once.
And I just feel like there's probably better people who can talk about it more than me.
Right, who can talk about these issues, who really know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
I mean, we have our own, and that's another thing that we were thinking to make that episode about. We were going to talk about our own, individual stories or experiences with racism. But it's just like, but that's all we got. And not that it's not meaningful what we've been through. We can't relate to, Black men and police. We just can't. Or women. We just can't relate to that.
Right, and not many people can, obviously.
No, unless you're Black.
Right.
And you're a man or you're a woman.
So, with that being said, I think there was just a lot of reasons that all came together as to why we didn't want to record that podcast, but also why we didn't want to record. At the beginning of all this, we said, like, until it stops being fun for us, if we're forcing ourselves to do it, any of that negative stuff, then we won't do it. And that's what it came down to. And you had to remind me of that, because I was like, kind of force myself to be in a place and do a thing that may not have been great.
Yeah.
And so, like I said, it all came down to a bunch of reasons why we just didn't want to record, period. With that being said, don't misconstrue this or misunderstand. Black Lives Matter, all cops are bastards, defund the police, and anyone who goes around saying all lives matter or back the blue can go fuck off.
Yeah.
Straight up. Like, with this all happening, we lost some friends or unfollowed some people, unfriended some people, and I don't think there needs to be an explanation for that. You know what I mean? Like,
God,
if you're,
no.
I mean, first of all, if you're straight up racist, then I have no reason to want to know you, period.
Yeah.
And if you're racist, but it's masked with, other things like
ignorance,
or like a political leaning, but in the end of it, it's just straight up racism. I don't want to know you. If you're spouting back the blue, not all cops are bad, few bad apples, whatever the fuck, I don't want to know you.
Yeah.
Like,
and we can get into this a little bit more, because I'm actually, like, I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Because it had a little bit more significance to me than it did you, because most of our friends, well, your friends, they're your friends first, but they're our friends now, that we all share a similar opinion, and we were all very sad and upset, and we were all, once everything started happening, we were still playing online quite a bit with our friends, and we were talking about it, and we all shared a similar opinion, but that's not my experience, because I still have friends that are from Wisconsin who I guess you could say in the, most hick terms, I mean, they do lean right, which is kind of bullshit. It's kind of stupid that they do, because they're the, the most, like, stoner, redneck, like, people that I know. Like, how could you support something like that? Mm-hmm. So I had a different experience with my, like, friends than you did. Because your friends, we were able to talk about it. We shared similar opinions and views. You didn't lose as many friends as I did.
Yeah.
Or that I'm losing.
Yeah.
Or have already lost.
Well, what comes down to is, like, when, like, the main group of friends that we have all support, the right thing. Because that's what it comes down to. It's, like, right and wrong, I feel like.
Yeah, good and bad.
Yeah. And they all, luckily, are on that side. The few who weren't, that were lost in some way, when I thought about it, we were like, well, they weren't that great of friends anyway. So what am I losing? It took this to lose them. But then it makes me question, it's like, well, why would I have kept them around anyway, in some way? You know what I mean? Like, they sucked as friends, too. So it's no loss, great loss either way. For me,
Yeah.
I don't know. It just, that's kind of what it comes down to. It's like right or wrong, and when this was all happening, I think the main thing it made me feel was just sad. Like, at first I was angry and I was like, I'm gonna talk about this, I want to say, but then it just was fucking sad. Like, I reacted to it differently than I thought I would. And it just bummed me out. Like, it was as close to depression as I've been since I've had depression. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't full-on depression like it used to be, but it was the closest feeling I've had to that, where it was just like, I don't want to do anything, and I don't want to look at it, and I don't want to see it. And you have to. In some way, you have to. So even if we didn't talk about it, we were there, aware of it, all of it, and again, on our different platforms, talking about it and speaking out against it or for it, depending on what it was, and doing what we could to help. And that was good enough.
Yeah.
With that being said,
well, to go back to, the friends thing, because, like I said, for me, it was kind of a significant
you have a little more to
moment.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, so, I mean, if you don't know, if you haven't listened, if this is your first podcast you're listening from Last Word, please go back and watch or listen to our other podcasts. They're really interesting. But if you don't know me, I grew up in Wisconsin, a really small fucking town in Wisconsin, less than 10,000 people, I'm sure. In fact, I'm sure that number is an exaggeration. And I guess you would call them, Republicans, but it's just like, they're just terrible people. And I grew up around a group of friends, specifically, in my hometown where my mother still lives, where, close to, my grandma and my brother and stuff like that. The place I call my hometown, where I, came of age and all that stuff, did all those crazy things, graduated high school, all of that. I had a group of friends, ranging from, a little bit different ages, different backgrounds, but they're all white. All of them. They're all white, and they're different religions, too. Or sometimes not religious at all, but the main thing is that they were all white. And not that we didn't have, people of color, or kids, really kids of color, going to my school. It's just like, the majority was white. Mm-hmm. Nothing but white kids. In fact, I think specifically in my high school, I was the only Native American girl. Mm-hmm. Only. And then this is in my high school. And granted, there's still not very many, very many high school students. But I was the only Native American girl. So I had two choices: to completely recluse myself and not have any friends at all, or make friends with white kids. And it also, again, it helps that my mother is also white. So I made friends with, I guess the bad kids, the kids that drank and smoked weed. And of course, like I've talked about a couple of those stories before. But those are the people that I related to more because they were, poor, they were kind of dirty, they were messed up, and sometimes their parents were just as fucked up, so they let us do fucked up things in their house. Like, they're the group of people that I felt like I fit in with, the only people that I felt I fit in with. And I remember quite a few times, especially during the summer, that me and these friends and sometimes they were different groups of friends too. They were friends of friends would form one group, and then there'd be a different one, and then there'd be a different one that was in school. Because again, a lot of these kids eventually didn't go to school at all.
Yeah.
So we were just, some of them were also homeless, which again, that's a whole different story, which we might have to put out one day. But these are my people.
Yeah.
We stood by each other, and there's a couple of summers that I remember that were very significant where we really were down for each other. Like, no matter what the other person did, no matter what we did, what trouble we got into, what things that were happening, what other groups that were in the town that we didn't like we always had each other's backs. And again, like, you have to imagine, like the one Native American girl among all these white people. Like, all the rest of these, like, white kids, but they were my friends. These are, my family. Even, if it wasn't for all of this stuff to an extent, like, I'd still be down for them because we had such significant experiences when we were teenagers. So, like, that's the background. That's the background of all of this. And I get, of course, like, I start seeing it, and I know, like, I know that there are going to be significant opinions on both sides, and that there are going to be kind of radical, crazy people on both sides of the situation.
Mm-hmm.
But then I start seeing it, and I think this is one of the first times, the murder of George Floyd really, like, it blew up. Like, it got more significant than it ever has. Like, which is very sad. Like, it's very tragic, but also at the same time, it's kind of amazing that people cared this much to make a bigger deal out of it. But most of the time, my friends, my white friends from Wisconsin, they stay quiet. They don't really say too much. And it wasn't really the case this time. They started talking about it. They started posting pictures. They were like, all lives matter. And they would post these rants from people that I have no idea who the fuck they are. Nobody does.
Well, it's Facebook, so that's Facebook. A big problem.
And, I would look at these posts and I would just be like, how can you think this way? How can you be like this? I expect it from my mom, and I know I have said in the past that I wasn't going to bring up personal things of her anymore. And I love my mother. I love my mother to death. She's amazing. But she does have some ignorant views when it comes to race. Yeah. She does. She is a white woman. And my grandparents are also kind of racist too. But it's just like, that is the way that she was raised. Now, I can try to educate her on this, but, it's like, let's not go there. But it's like, so I expect it from my mother to have these certain views or to think a certain way, and I don't agree with it, and I try to educate her. But it is really sad when I had spent, like, years and years and time and, crazy events backing someone up. It's kind of a slap in the face to me when I see them posting these things.
Yeah.
And what really, really got me, and again, like, I'm not sure anymore because it's been so long. I'm pretty sure I was their only Native American friend ever.
You're only, and not just Native American friend, you're their only probably minority friend, period.
Yeah. I mean, we did have black students, we did have Mexican students, but as far as people that they were friends with, that I remember, especially, like, in this time when we were really forming those bonds, I was, like, one of the only people. And maybe I'm remembering it wrong, and I'm sure if my friends listen to this, they would be very quick to correct me, but I don't remember anyone else of color being in our group or near our group at that time. So it was a slap in the face to see these posts and to hear them talking about it, and I was just like, I looked at where I was, where I still am in my life, and I was just like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I'm not even going to fight with them. I'm not even going to try and change their mind. I don't even want to have that conversation. I don't even want to tell them this. Mm-hmm. I'm just done.
Yeah.
Click unfriend, and okay, all right, that's it, because I'm so exhausted.
Yeah.
Of it, and I feel such, like, not even betrayal. I just feel like empty about it, because it's just like, nah, we had, years, like, I think like 3 years of my life that I dedicated to these people, that they dedicated to me, and now they're saying that a minority's life doesn't matter. And I'm like, and I know, like, it'd be a totally different story, and it probably wouldn't make any headlines at all, but if that were me, what would they say if it were me?
Well, if it were you and they knew you, they'd probably jump on board on the bandwagon and be like, I knew her, we were such good friends, like, justice for Rabbit, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
and they would use Rabbit, mm-hmm. which is, like, but my honor.
Because, like, it's this person that they don't know, and so for so many reasons, they can disregard it and say it doesn't matter. But, like, what about the one friend they did have of color? You're saying that they're saying that your life doesn't matter. Yeah. They're saying that they don't know me, but they're saying that my life doesn't matter. And so on and so forth.
And our friends,
and that's kind of the case
your family,
for anyone going about saying this. It's like, well, you're saying that my life doesn't matter then.
Yeah. I think the best explanation for it is that we are saying, well, and I had another friend, we were talking about it, and of course he supported the movement, but he also had a different take on things. He was talking about, well, all lives don't matter. Do you think Hitler's life mattered? Do you think, such and such? And I was like, no, you're right. Like, you're right. That's true. Not all lives matter.
It's an interesting view, and I don't know if I agree with it 100%. But in some way, it's like, well, maybe you're right. It's like, all lives matter. It's like, but do they?
It was kind of, it was slightly cynical, but it was also very logical.
It's like, in some way, not all lives matter. That's just how it is.
Yeah.
So you could probably list a lot of people who, whether they were here or not, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And that's kind of fucked up. But also, really the term comes from, like, all lives matter, meaning, like it's not just black lives. It's white people's lives. Right. It's Asian. It's basically, when they say it, they mean it's Asian life. Not Asian. No.
Oh, my God.
Basically, when they say it, they mean it's white people life matter, too. You know what I mean? Because they don't care about any other minorities.
It's like they need to think of themselves.
There's also the camp who say all lives matter, thinking that, well, it's not just black, it's Mexican, it's Asian and stuff. And it's like, yeah, in that sense, it's like, yes, all lives matter, but that's not the point, because all lives aren't in danger. Right now.
Or not in danger right now. Here's the movement.
There's
this is what we're saying.
People who are being murdered systematically by police and people who are supposed to be protecting us, and that's why their lives matter, right?
Yeah.
It's just that common, like, thing that's been going around right now, the metaphor of, like, the house being on fire, and the fire department comes, and it's your house, it's on fire, or it's someone's house, it's on fire, and the fire department starts spraying down houses around it, and you're like, hey, that's the house that's on fire. Can't you do something about that house? And the fire department says, well, all these houses matter.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the problem. It's like, there's a specific life that is in danger right now. And anyone saying, for whatever reason, all lives matter, is taking away the validity of that.
Yeah.
And in some way, whether they are doing it on purpose or not, being kind of fucking racist.
Yeah. Yeah, because the very simplest explanation to this is just like, we're not saying that other lives don't matter. Mm-hmm. We are just focusing on one for the time being, because that's what's really significant.
Yeah.
This is what happened. This is what's happening. That's all we're saying. We will get back to the other issues when they come.
Mm-hmm.
But right now, it's Black Lives Matter. And if you can't say that, if you can't look at a group of people and say, hey, you matter, it's like, are you not being racist?
Yeah. If you could easily say all lives matter, then why can't you say Black Lives Matter?
Yeah.
There's a fucking fly also in here. which probably is being picked up on the mic. I'm not sure.
And it was also really funny because both me and our dog, Chief, all looked up at the same time.
Looking around.
As soon as the buzzing started. We're a bunch of animals in this house.
Yeah. And you just hear it. It's going to be like that episode of Breaking Bad where he sees that fly and he spends the whole episode trying to kill it. Welcome. This is going to be the rest of the podcast.
We're going to talk about a fly.
No, they're going to hear ambient noise of us running around trying to kill the fly. And then that's going to be the rest of it.
Yeah. We did spend an entire evening doing that once. Trying to kill a fly.
Yeah. Well, I don't know why, but flies get annoying.
Yeah. No, but this is a big fly.
And it was huge.
It was huge and it wouldn't die.
Yeah.
We must have hit it like 5 times.
Devil fly.
See, and so now we're going to talk about flies for the rest of the podcast.
Yeah.
Anyway, so there's a fly in our house. But, no, so like once I started seeing these posts and really seeing the things that my ex-friends were saying, I was done.
Yeah.
I deleted it. I took them off my Facebook. One of them did try to re-add me, but I was just like, no. And then I also unfriended someone too recently, and I guess this little off subject, but not really, because I mean, if you're against one of these, you're probably against the other, and it's kind of funny how the two correlate. But she was an anti-masker.
Oh God. Which is a whole other thing. I don't think we'll get into.
Yeah, I don't think we will. But I also unfriended that person because I was just like, nope, wear your fucking mask.
Just people.
You're not gonna pass out. You're not gonna poison yourself. You're not gonna get CO2 poisoning, right? Yeah. That's what people are worried about.
It's not real. It doesn't exist. It doesn't happen. People are. I don't know. I'm not even gonna start with that because it's a whole other thing.
It is a whole nother thing. But just people wear your mask.
It's not our fucking job to fix you or to tell you what you are doing wrong or anything like that. Like, I don't have time for that shit. If you're gonna be willfully ignorant or just straight up stupid, if you're gonna be racist or racist masked with something else, if you're gonna be a terrible fucking person for whatever reason, then I don't want to know you. Yeah. Then that's it.
Right, and it's like, unless you are my mother and I love you to death like I would my mother, no, get the fuck out of here. Like, because Rabbit she's done. I'm done with it all. My shoulder just popped really loud and I'm sure you just heard it.
That was gross. You're just flailing wildly.
Well, no, I use my hands when I talk.
Are you okay?
Yeah,
Is it dislocated? It's hanging a little lower than it was.
I think it's fine. No, I use my hands when I talk, and of course the people can't see it because this is audio. But I talk with my hands, and sometimes it just gets more
theatrical.
Theatrical than it normally does. So you probably heard that really disgusting pop.
If it wasn't picked up. Wow.
Yeah. And while we've been in quarantine and mostly just sitting there, even if we're just reading or playing Animal Crossing.
We have Animal Crossing now.
I've been getting more.
If you guys got Animal Crossing, let us know. We can add you. Get on those islands.
Yes, I need to visit people's islands.
Yes.
I need to collect fossils. But I find myself more creaky and my joints pop more. I guess just because we've been sitting around more.
Less active.
Well, we're still working out.
Yeah, but we're compared
at least
to
3 times a week. But
work and stuff. Like, it's just like we're sitting more than we're doing anything else.
Reading, playing Animal Crossing.
Like you said, even when we're doing something, we're sitting. Like we can be drawing or reading or writing or playing something, but we're still sitting. Yeah. So but I guess that's where kind of the break and the need for it started and what happened within that. Yeah. And then for me actually taking the break. Once I was finally once I finally could accept, like, it's okay to not record a fucking podcast. It's okay to not record a podcast. Then I was able to allow myself to breathe and to, like, reset and reflect and kind of find again.
Refresh
and kind of find again that inspiration that made me want to do creative things in the first place during this time. and that weren't just podcast things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're a lot like your dad in that way, where your dad will, he can't really take days off. He always has to be doing something. He always has to be doing chores and like working around the house. There's every once in a while where maybe he can take a day or two, but then like after that he's just back at it.
Mm-hmm.
Just up and about, working out, walking, yard work. Well, what little yard work you can do, because there isn't really a yard. But he's always up and doing something, and I think he gets stir crazy.
Yeah.
Too, when he can't do something. Which is a lot like you. It reminds me of you.
That makes sense.
I mean, your mom has to force him to relax.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. Like, and that was the biggest struggle. But even talking about it now, it's just like in hindsight. And hindsight is a fucking gift. It's like how a single podcast was not very significant in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah.
Not at all. And like I said, we said what we needed to, and we did what we need to, and we'll continue to do so. And we, donated and helped where we could, and that's gonna be okay. And it was okay to take a break, and it is okay to take a break. Still, you got to like relax and restart and like reconnect, essentially.
Yeah.
And so that's what we took the time for. And it was really the last week where I took the time to do that, and it was good. And now I have all kinds of things I want to do and ideas flowing, but also more importantly, a peace with being okay with just kind of just going with the flow.
Yeah.
And just going with it. We were going to record yesterday and we ended up not doing it, and that was okay, because here we are today still going for it.
Yeah. Well, we had to come up with subjects, and we had to really talk about what we were going to talk about and start getting kind of a loose outline of what we wanted. And we realized that we weren't as prepared to record as we wanted to be.
Yeah,
so
and we weren't going to force it.
Wait a day and
we weren't going to force it, and we were okay with not doing that.
Yeah.
And that would be my suggestion to anyone out there right now, especially in this time. Just reassess if you need to. It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. Just take a step back if you need to. It's okay.
We're going to try to get on a more regular schedule with these, even if we're we're making up certain topics that not necessarily something has happened to us.
Yeah, it may not.
We're going to do some fun stuff, some funny headlines,
it's gonna
top
be,
5
it's
lists.
It's going to get fucking random, probably.
Yeah.
Because it may not be something necessarily that happened to us or things that are happening in the world, like a current event or any fucking thing like that. It's probably going to get pretty silly. But that's it. Whatever.
Yeah. I think we're going to try to put out a podcast every 2 weeks. So every other Tuesday?
I guess.
Something like that. I think
know.
that's...
I don't know if we discussed it. Did we?
I think we did.
I don't remember. Or
maybe that was all in my head. That might have been all in my head. I've been having a lot of those lately.
Yes, you have. Yes, you have. And I find out later.
I don't know what to say.
Because I don't remember that. But we'll figure it out. And just, again, stay in touch, follow, subscribe, so you know what's going on. Because we're not here for just a podcast. We're here for you. We're here, I don't know, as like friends in a community. So stick around. But moving on from that, let's get, I guess, to what we kind of want to talk about today. With what we just said, light subject, literally, light, airy, warm, summer. That's what I'm trying to segue to. Summer. The season of summer. It's the time of the season.
Right, we've talked about loving. Oh my God, stop. Well, we've talked about every season. We felt that it fit to talk about the summer season.
That's true.
Things that we used to do, things we had looked forward to or that we were going to do this year and didn't happen.
And it's not going to happen. It may not even happen in fall.
Yeah, which makes me so sad.
My dad was very bummed out that supposedly, and this is insider information here, at least locally, Southwest New Mexico, no contact sports.
Yeah.
So no football for my good old dad.
Yeah, he's gonna be.
Which may
crazy.
end up, if that's any small indication of how things are going to go throughout the world, or at least through this country, then there may not be sports like that, at least contact sports, which is very sad.
Yeah.
Well, for some people. I don't care that much.
Athletes are getting sick.
Yeah.
Like, they're catching the virus, and I don't know, it's really sad. So,
right.
Yeah, I am worried about what fall is going to look like. I'm worried about what Halloween is going to look like.
No, it's going to be here. We're going to be here at home, which we've done Halloween at home before, but
yeah,
I like doing things on Halloween.
Yeah.
I don't even want to think about it, because then what's, is Universal going to do Halloween Horror Nights? Maybe not. Or if they do, what's it going to look like?
How could you social distance?
Yeah.
Like, how could their scare actors social distance? Yeah. And not all of them can wear masks.
Right.
At least not.
That's fucking...
Yeah.
And
let's not talk about it. Let's not.
It's terrible.
Let's not go there. Anyway,
we won't talk about the doom of fall. We're going to talk about summer, which is here and now.
Oh, it is. Okay, so we can't have the air conditioner on while we record.
Because it's just too loud. On top of all the other noise going on.
Right, the construction. Like, you would hear it just in the background. It would be there, and I'm sure in our earlier podcasts you might have heard it before. Mm-hmm. But we turn it off because it makes editing easier. It's too much noise.
Too much noise on top of all the other noise.
But it's pretty so fucking hot in here.
It's so fucking hot right now.
And I'm getting warmer. Thankfully, we're almost done. But, yeah, so summer. Summer is here. Summer has been here for a while. Well, let's talk
about summer. Yeah, let's talk about summer now. Yeah, let's talk about summer now. I mean, it's here now. And pretty much all this summer has been, it's just been hot. And
we've been eating a lot of watermelon.
And it's been hot. And that's it. Because there's nothing else going on, and there's nothing else we can do.
Yeah.
So that's been summer for 2020. It's been hot.
All right, this has been the last word no. But it's true. I mean, it's not like we live around lakes anyway that we can just go to. Mm-hmm. We can't get with. We can't hang out with our friends in big groups because that's dangerous. There isn't too many other summer activities that we could do right now either. So it's just been like, yeah, we sit at home.
Can't travel. We can't do anything.
Yeah.
It's just been hot. That's all that's been happening.
And watermelon.
We stay at home, which we've been staying at home since March, and we eat watermelon, and it's hot. And that's this summer. So, I guess with this summer notwithstanding, I mean, in the past, or in general, like, what does summer mean to you?
Well, usually, I mean, and I talked a little bit about it already because we brought up the whole friends thing, but I would literally take the opportunity to hang out with my friends every single day that I could when I was a teenager.
Well, yeah.
Like, and almost to a point, like, not come home if I didn't really have to. Mm-hmm. Like, or not come home until really, really late just to, like, eat, sleep, get up, do it all, like, again the next day. Because we could. Mm-hmm. You know, like, there would be times where, like, my friends and we would even just sit on my mom's porch because I was home and my mom knew where I was, but we got away with it because we got to still hang out outside and nobody else's parents cared where they were either. Mm-hmm. So we would hang out until, like, 2 a.m, and then I would go to sleep and, you know, of course, like, sleep all day, and then my friends would come and they would knock on my window, like, and wake me up and make me get up.
Yeah.
So then we can hang out and do it all over again. So that's what summer meant for me, is just being with my friends and hanging out with them. But it also meant swimming.
Yeah.
Which swimming in Wisconsin is an experience. You need to experience it because it is such a huge part of summer. Like, if we could have gone swimming, like, just about every day, that's what we would have been doing. Mm-hmm. Now, it does kind of suck because gas was a big thing back then. Like, not everyone's parents had enough gas money to take people to the lake. Mm-hmm. Much, much closer than going to the lake here, which is, 6 hours away, possibly?
Yeah.
It was, 45 minutes. for us, but it's just like it took a lot to take a big group of kids to the lake. So we didn't get to go as often as we probably would have liked, but yeah, swimming in a lake in Wisconsin was just like summer. Like that was like a huge part of my summer. That's like
a summer that you read about. You know what I mean? Like that's some like Norman Rockwell, like Americana shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And you've said that before about my life.
Yeah. Well, yeah, especially, and I experienced it myself, like a summer in Wisconsin. And probably, I guess, summer in any, like, Midwest place is just like, yo, this is what summer is about.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? This is fucking summer. Like, it's like the dizzying life of, like, swimming like for like all day and then like getting out and like carnivals, you know what I mean? Going like there's carnivals randomly every fucking week, like in random spots, because that's what it's time for. And it's just there's nothing like a Wisconsin summer or a Midwest summer maybe in general. And that was some of my best experiences for summer was in Wisconsin.
Mine too. With you, it made it different because you and I went swimming quite a bit too.
Yeah, we did everything. It was great.
But yeah, I mean, and those are some of the, better things too. Getting to go to fairs and carnivals and fireworks. The 4th of July was pretty cool. And that was always something that we did too. It was a tradition to go to, I don't remember the park, but it was a park in Cumberland, Wisconsin. And they would always do their fireworks show. And I think they would do it out in the middle of the lake. Like, they would set it up.
Yeah.
Like, there. And they would shoot them off from, like, the other side of it. The point is, like, it was kind of centered around the lake. And everyone would go and flood this park, and there would be, like, 1 million people there. But me and my friends always went. I met some significant people there who would have an impact on my life later on. So, yeah, things like that were always what I look forward to the most during the summer.
I agree. I mean, summer for me always kind of means freedom in a sense and change, and I don't know, it's a good feeling, you know, always. Even to this point where we're at now in some way. But as a kid, I mean, it depends on what section of my life you talk about. Like, as a kid, like, age, 6 through 12, it was just about, like having the complete free time to play. You know what I mean? So, summers as a kid, were I don't even know. It was, Nickelodeon summertime shows, 90s Nickelodeon summertime shows. Maybe some 2000s, but a lot of, 90s Nickelodeon summertime shows, all that stuff. Watching that, then going outside and running around barefoot in the dirt and the rocks with some grass. We had grass then, you know what I mean? But then we had our hill that's right behind our yard. So all that, and just playing, finding sticks and hitting them with other sticks, and just running around and playing with the hose, throwing water balloons at ant piles, and just being a kid, basically. Being a kid and just having the freedom of doing that, because there was no school or anywhere you had to be or anything like that, so you just went. It was summer started and I would just go, you just go. And then when it would start raining a lot, you knew that summer was ending. Monsoon season was close to the end of summer, so that was always an aspect of summer too, the heavy rains and thunder and stuff like that. And especially there was a point when I was little where I was afraid of thunderstorms, so that was a thing.
Your mom brought that up.
Yeah.
And she asked,
"You still afraid of thunderstorms?" No. I'm 30 years old. I'm afraid I can't pay my rent. I hate thunderstorms. I would welcome.
I don't have health insurance.
I'm fine with thunderstorms. I need to get my teeth checked.
Yeah.
So no, I'm not still afraid of thunderstorms.
Your mom still sees you very much as a child.
And that's really when I think about child summer.
We didn't even. I didn't even talk about the child
summer. That's what I think about. And sometimes trips. My parents would take trips randomly,
Yeah, upper middle class.
Upper middle class. Every 2 years we were able to take a trip. Not every year, like every 2 to 3 to 4, but usually 2 or 3 years we were able to take a trip, and it was usually somewhere small like Arizona, for some reason, or like we would go to the trips I remember taking as a kid when I was really little, and I'm sorry. For you.
Yeah.
Like when I was like
I
6.
had never been out of my state.
And I'm sorry. I'm going to apologize
like,
for
really?
my wonderful summers as a child.
Yeah.
I'm going to apologize.
Asshole.
I'm apologizing now to you and to anyone else. When I was 6, I got to go to Disneyland for the first time. So that was cool.
The first time.
The first time. And that was cool. And that, of course, started my love for Disneyland and theme parks in general, and constantly wanting to go. And I still want to go. But this world is different. And so I went to Disneyland and SeaWorld for the first time when I was like 6, and we did the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Good
sorry,
for you.
I'm sorry. And then no, fuck you. I'm not gonna apologize. Don't make me feel bad for that. Fuck you.
Wow.
I can appreciate my childhood. I'm not gonna be ashamed of being able to go to Disneyland at 6 years
one
old.
summer I saw an armadillo with my dad when I was in his truck.
That's cool. I've never seen an armadillo.
I
I love armadillos. It'd be cool to see. Anyway, so, trips like that. So there'd be big trips like that. And then a lot of summers would be just being at home, but that was always nice, too. And when I think about summers, I really just think about the days of, like, being at home. Again, Nickelodeon, playing outside, water in some aspect, whether it was rain or a hose or whatever, and that was it, and just going. And then... the next thing that comes to mind when I think about summer as a kid, shots. I think I got all my booster shots as a kid, in one summer. It was like, in my head, it was like every day I got a shot, but it was probably like 4 days out of the summer where I had to get shots, but that sucked. It's stuck in my brain, whereas like I had to get shots, so that sucked. And... that's it. That was summer as a child for me.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't even get to talk about my childhood summers. I mean, they were very similar. I loved sleeping in because even as a child, first of all, I wouldn't sleep right away in the evening. It would take me a long time to sleep. But then I loved sleeping in during the day. And it was just, I was given the freedom to sleep in and then, go outside and play with rocks and dirt and... grass, get bit by 1,000 mosquitoes. And I mean, those are really fun. I love being able to do that and just, hang out and watch TV. And then my parents worked, so I really got to do like whatever I wanted when I was a kid, and like really playing all the dirt that I wanted and come home and clean it all up, bring dirt inside if I wanted to. But that was really cool. And then even when my parents were there, I mean, there wasn't like a big like grilling out, but I do remember that they would grill every once in a while, and we would have like potato salad and like food like that, and watermelon. I feel like for some reason watermelon was messier when I was a kid, and I don't know if that's...
I think it's just because you're a kid.
Right, because I remember watermelon would get so messy to the point where my parents like would put... I don't remember if they put like newspaper or something down, but it was so messy, and I don't know why, because it's not nearly that messy today.
No, but
unless watermelons were somehow different back then.
It's just because you were
like,
a kid.
Like 20 years ago.
Because you were a kid,
different.
you were messy. I'm pretty sure.
But then again, they would also, I mean, the size of the watermelon they would give me was just ridiculous. But, yeah, that was a huge thing, is eating watermelon. Like, that was a big thing. And I fucking loved it. So my parents would do stuff like that. And then I also remember that fireworks was also a pretty big thing. Like, and my parents would sometimes, every once in a while, they would go all out and they would buy a ton of fireworks to set off in our driveway. And we would do that. And I remember I would look forward to it all day, and I knew like, oh, we're gonna do it. And we would even, like, certain fireworks are illegal in different states, and I think even here certain fireworks are illegal here. You have to go somewhere else to get them. And I remember my parents specifically talking about how, we have to go to Minnesota to get these because we're not going to find them here in Wisconsin. So we had to go like an hour away to go get our fireworks. So, and my parents would, they would spend a lot of money on fireworks, and we would shoot them off for the 4th of July.
That's good memories too.
Yeah.
So you kind of talked about teenager summers. Is there more in there that you...
Teenager summers?
Yeah, I mean, because you mentioned hanging out with your
I
friends.
fell in love a lot.
Well, summer
during
love.
the summer. Yeah, it didn't go into the normal year very well after that. I almost died plenty of times, and we've talked about my injuries. A lot of those injuries happened during the summer.
Yeah, makes sense. Definitely.
Like, because I was out, like, being stupid and doing dumb things. And, yeah, hurting myself. It happens. Yeah, I remember one time I was with friends, and we... I don't remember exactly how it happened. It was the friend who we dated, the same guy, and he was, he cheated on me with her and all that stuff. It was me and her, and we had been hanging out, and I remember we were just talking about it, and someone mentioned, oh, let's go down to the lake. It was that park in Cumberland that I talked about before, and we were like, let's just go down there. Let's just go down to the water and, like, look out. And that didn't last very long because we stood there and both of us just, like, started running towards the water. We ran into it and we swam out to the diving board that was in the middle of the lake, and it's anchored there. And we climbed up on it and we were jumping off of it, and it's got to be like 8 o'clock at night. Like, it's dark and you shouldn't really swim after dark. Like, it's not safe. But we were jumping off of
not
it.
In the lake.
No, we were jumping off of the diving board in the middle of it, and her sister was driving us around, and she kept yelling at us, like, get back here, like, get back, like, and she was like, and we just kept, like, jumping off of it and yelling stupid things, and then more people, like, came down. I don't know who they were, but I think they knew who I was, at least just because they knew that it was, like, they knew my name.
They knew of you.
They knew of me because they were, like, family or family friends. But they didn't personally know me.
Right.
They just, like, knew my name, knew that I'm related to so-and-so. So they had also, like, came down at some point and were yelling. And eventually we came in, but, yeah. And that was really cool. Like, that's
funny.
such a dumb experience, but it was, like, no, like, that meant something. Like, that was meaningful.
Does. Yeah, that's straight out of a movie right there.
Yeah.
Or book.
Maybe it'll be in my book, which I am still writing.
Copyright it.
Yeah.
So no one takes it. Say it.
Copyright.
Summers for me, teenager-wise, were all about friends, like you said. All about hanging out with friends, like, on every fucking day. And sometimes, going and spending the night and staying for, like, 2-3 days straight, like, and just hanging out with friends. That's all it was about.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what sums it up. Just hanging out with friends. At first it was just that core group of friends, and then, growing into more and more, and, hanging out, boy-girl parties and shit like that. You know what I mean? Like, just as you grow up. But that's really what it was all about. It was just hanging out with friends, period. And just going. Again, like, just nonstop. Like, just go. But this time it was with friends. And doing the stupid shit I've talked about before, just during summer. Staying out late, staying up, doing all-nighters, stuff like that. Just going. Like I don't know. But like we were on fire, you know what I mean? Just fucking going. And that's what it was all about. There was summers near the end of high school where it wasn't that for me because, well, when I look at it now, it was like, oh, I had depression. But then I didn't know what was happening. I was just really sad.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to go outside or hang out with anyone or see one. I just sleep and wake up and then play World of Warcraft and stay home. And that's all I wanted to do. You know what I mean? That's all I wanted. I didn't want to do anything else. And that was, I think, summer near the end of high school as well as probably into college too. Just depression. Right. But of course, didn't know that then. But when I think about summer as a teenager and a little older, there's sections I remember, and that's one of the sections. So you can't not talk about that. Just because it's depression or whatever, you can't not talk about that. So if anyone wondering, any friends listening wondering, or like remember the time, remember when Joel didn't really hang out that one summer? He's like really reclusive. Aww. It was depression. He was depressed. Yeah. And that's a weird take on it, but it's true. Well, it's not a weird take on it. That's what was happening. You know, I was depressed, but it's just weird that in the time, of course, I didn't know what was happening. But now when I talk about it and think about it and look at it, it's like, oh yeah, I was definitely depressed. Wish I would have done something then if I would have known better. But I had no one to tell me either. I know if no one noticing it or looking out for it or looking out for me. So I was just like, I guess I'm just sad. I guess I am just a piece of shit. You know what I mean? I guess the world is really just shitty, you know, and there was no other answer.
Well, yeah. I mean, you know, my friends never told me either that, like, hey, Rabbit, you're doing some stupid shit. Are you okay? They all, you know, we all just drank and smoked weed and hung out and did stupid things with stupid guys. It's like, that was our life. That was summer. And I feel like if anyone, and I was also dealing with depression and anxiety and all that stuff like that, you know, they used to complain because I used to sleep a lot, and actually I still do sleep quite a bit. Like at any given time I could be taking a nap. But especially then, like I said, if my friends and I, you know, we hang out until 2 a.m, it would still take me like an hour and a half to get to sleep. So there's a good chance, like, I wouldn't be sleeping until, like, 3 a.m, like, 4. And then I would sleep until 1, 2 in the afternoon. And my friends are like, you're always sleeping. Whenever I come over here, you're sleeping. Or whenever you're hanging out with us, you're sleeping. Like, you fall asleep. And it's just, like, that was, like, a very, like, clinical sign of depression. Yeah. Like, my friends complained about it. They thought it was stupid that I'm always sleeping or I'm always tired. You know, or I need, like, a gallon of energy drink just to be alive, which I could have taken back then and not died. Because there was also a significant time, too, in one of those summers where I lived off of Diet Coke, Cool Ranch Doritos, and energy drinks, like Rockstar energy drinks. And that is it. Like, I wish I could go back to that, where that's all I had to survive. like and a small home cooked meal, like maybe imagine once a week.
Like that now, like we would die. It would be so bad. I just thinking
about
it.
Like we eat like 5 chicken nuggets from McDonald's, and we just
I'm done.
Right? It's like I need vegetables. Like I need broccoli with this.
I wish we could eat like that now and be completely okay. Like,
but that was like healthy. The staple of the summer, especially for me, is living off of. Yeah, just shit, just crap.
Yeah. Well, teenager.
Yeah, just a teenager. But that was great. And yeah, only coming home maybe to eat dinner every so often. But yeah, so my friends, like, they noticed it. They would say something, but they mostly just complained that I wasn't there to hang out all the time. Yeah. Or I was sleeping, or, you know, we were just, like, watching movies and playing video games, so I would fall asleep. But I was tired, and I was kind of depressed, and they didn't notice it, and they didn't say anything.
Yeah, it was like, you know, on my end, it's like, why don't you hang out? Like, what? And it's like, guys, I fucking can't. Like, and I also can't explain it, but yeah, I can't. Yeah. And it was a terrible feeling, but it was part of summer. Yeah. And so, hey, there you go. One part of summer for me as a teenager was when summer love, as you said already, was when I met the person I was with before I met you, I guess. But like we were together, quote unquote, for 2 years, and then we weren't for 2 years, and then I met you. But the only other woman I've been with in my life. Yeah, your first and only other girlfriend in your life. Right. Oh, you met her during the summer. That's cute. Yeah. So that was a big part of summer as a teenager. And, God, I only have been with 2 women in my life. What the fuck? And, like, not even just, like, been with, like, I had sex with, but, like, relationship, too. Like, come on. Yeah, like, I mean, fuck? You should have at least had, like, maybe one more relationship before you met me. I should have. Before you met. There should have been more. And settled down and then became polyamorous much later. But, hey, right, which means now there could be more, so anyone out there listening, Please.
Howell is half single, or
I'm
Jay
desperate.
is half single and available.
I'm desperate.
No, he's
Please.
not desperate. Anyway,
Please.
Shut up. Shut up.
So that.
Yeah, compared to my list of summer loves and just my list of like people that I've been with, even not just sex or not just like sleeping, that list is much, much smaller. But people that I've even just dated more casually, why are you giving me that face?
I'm just watching you. I'm just listening to you.
You're judging me.
No, I'm not.
You're silently, but even people that I've like, oh, they're hanging out, you know, like that stupid teenager thing. Like they're not quite dating yet, but they're already like exclusive. Like both of them are hands off until they decide.
Wow. So stupid.
Right? Like that's so fucking dumb. But like that list is much, much bigger because there was kind of a hierarchy in my my group, which I've talked a little bit about already, that, you know, if you're with someone, you're with someone, and that couple is exclusive.
Mm-hmm.
But they break up, they kind of just, like, filter. And every once in a while, there'd be new people that would come in and out of the group.
Mm-hmm.
Or, let's say if, you know, one of my friends, like Amanda, you know, went to a new school or a new town, came back and met someone else, then he would be now part of the group, and then he would also kind of filter around. So it's like someone would break up, so new people would come in and get together.
Weird.
So it's like we kind of all dated each other.
Oh, that's so weird.
I know. God, we're weird, disgusting people. But that's how it went. So it's like I dated a lot more people. And I had a lot more experience with teen romance than you did. Mm-hmm. You didn't miss a whole lot. I'll tell you that.
Like it's easy to be like, damn it, I should have had more. But in some way, it's like
I should have had more sex.
Well, not that. No, but like just in general, like I should have had more relationships and all that shit. But like, what value does teenage relationship have? Like, it's not that it's not that it doesn't have value, but it's not necessarily the best.
Yeah, it's
It's
like I know I'm not bragging about it. I am more just kind of like making fun of myself for it.
Right. It's not the most meaningful and cultivated relationships you could have.
I mean, there's still someone that back from my teenage years that I still absolutely like love. And she will, like, always, like, hold that place. She was my first relationship, my first girlfriend, my first relationship ever.
Oh, get over it.
Okay.
Just kidding.
You heard it here first, folks. Anyway, yeah, I mean, but that will always hold. And we were young. We were, like, 14 years old. So it's like, well, she might have been 15, but... Yeah, I mean, that will always hold some significance to me, but a lot of the other relationships are just bullshit and stupid teenage stuff. And then not so teenage stuff, but stuff we still had to deal with, but we were too immature to really know what was going on. Mm-hmm. But yeah, summer romance was a huge thing for me.
Yeah, that's cool. In some way, I wish it should have been more for me, at least in that moment, but I know I didn't really miss out. And now we're at the point where we can actually hopefully cultivate and make meaningful relationships and friendships. So it should mean more now, either way. But that's a part of it. That's a part of summer, especially as a kid, especially as a teenager. That's a part of
you
summer.
know what I do miss, though? I miss the food.
Summer food?
Yeah.
Just like what is that? What is summer
like
food?
My mom's potato salad.
So
it was the
summer food.
Simplest potato salad ever, and it was more of a Midwestern potato salad. I'm pretty sure if I made it here, people would they'd be weird about it. They'd be like, what is this? Is
got
this...
like corn in it or
no,
something?
Not corn. Wow.
what
I'm sorry, it doesn't have green chili in it.
Cheese on top of it?
No.
Well, why is it a Midwest versus...
Just egg, potato, mayo, green onions. That's it. A little bit of salt and pepper, maybe.
No mustard.
That is it.
No pickles.
My mother didn't
olives.
A little bit of pickles. Sometimes. No olives, none of that.
Mustard. No.
My mom didn't like mustard. She doesn't like mustard. So
I mean, that's potato salad.
Yeah, that is potato
It's not
salad,
that
but
strange.
it's just
Salt
like
and pepper.
a little bit of salt and pepper sometimes. But again, like, that was as simple as it gets. And I've never really seen another potato salad like that here.
Yeah, most have more in it.
More in it,
here.
mustard, different vegetables, different, textures and tastes.
Yeah.
Some people do their eggs differently.
Mm-hmm.
Like, sometimes some of them won't use the yolk.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them will.
Yeah.
But I haven't really came across it again, except in Wisconsin. So.
Okay, so summer foods.
Potato salad.
Potato salad. Watermelon.
Watermelon was big.
What? Hot dogs? Hamburgers?
Yeah, hot dogs and hamburgers, and we did the
bratwurst?
white bratwurst, but we did the white bread instead of buns. We rarely had buns unless they were for hot dogs.
Right.
But yeah, we had hot dogs, and we got the ballpark ones. The ones
they
that
plump when you cook them.
Yeah. But it's funny, what was playing in my head is the George Lopez comedy stand up. Mm-hmm. Get that yeah, I can't do it. No, I shouldn't even try.
You shouldn't try to do it.
You do it. You do it.
Well, I don't know the lines, so I'm
but
not
it's
gonna
something
try.
like the weenies that yeah.
Yeah.
But he does it in the accent. I'm so sorry that I even started that. But yeah, hot dogs were a big thing. The potatoes, I missed that. Ooh, Lay's chips, but the Ruffles were also a big thing. Cool Ranch Doritos.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Because those are my favorite. And I know, this isn't, specifically, summer food. You can have these anytime. But I would find them mostly, during the summer.
Now I have to think. Summer food. Definitely those things. Hot dogs, hamburgers, watermelon. Definitely those foods. Mm-hmm. Watermelon. Hot dog, hamburgers.
Ooh, the fruit salad.
I'm trying to think.
Sorry. Another one for me is the fruit salad. I guess you guys would call it an ambrosia salad.
Fruit salad.
But where you throw in the fruit cocktail and the little marshmallows with, what is it, whipped cream or something and cream cheese? Yeah.
I don't know how you make it, but...
I don't remember.
Potato salad. I don't know. Most of the foods I had were just foods. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I'm going to eat this anytime.
Dill pickles?
Kind of. Oh, I had pickles. What? Let me think. God, stop just
I'm thinking of all of them.
Just give me a second to think about what I ate in the summer. God damn it.
I thought of another one.
Shut up. Big summer things for me. Definitely the grilled stuff. Okay, so all of that. Hot dogs, hamburgers, like I've said. And your
family grilled a lot more than I did.
Watermelon. Definitely. Summer. Let me think. Popsicles.
Ooh.
Like store-bought, but also snow cones. Like going to a snow cone stand. Because those are
see, I never got to do that.
Yeah. I think it's in New Mexico they're more of a thing. Or maybe it's just southern, southwest thing. But I definitely know in New Mexico. Snow cone stands. You guys want to go get a snow cone? That was a thing.
The rocket popsicles?
Yeah.
Ooh, so those were more of
popsicles. Yeah. Right.
But those were the signature for summer.
I think any popsicle for me was signature. We had a lot of the Otter Pops. The ones you cut the plastic at the top, and if you
my mom
eat
would
them
buy
too much, they cut the side of your mouth.
Oh yeah,
of the plastic.
My mom would buy them. They come in a pack of 100. My mom would buy 3 of them.
Yeah, so Otter Pops, and then there was those weird ones that were. My mom called them bolis, and that's what we call them, bolis, which I think is just Spanish for a popsicle. I don't know.
I don't know why you're looking at me.
We call them bolis, and they were like an Otter Pop in the sense they were in plastic, but there was one on one side and one on the other side, and you cut them in the middle, and then you eat So there was those two. For some reason, bubblegum comes to mind as far as summer goes. I don't know if I chewed it more during the summer or something, but it's a thing for me in the summer.
Kind of makes sense. Yeah, definitely candy became more popular during the summer because we'd always go to the slushies.
Slushies, yeah.
Was always more of a significant summer thing because with all of us kids out, we would walk up to the gas station, And again, in my hometown, specifically more when I was a little older. And we would go to the gas station. We would spend what little money we had, what little allowance we got. And we would buy candy bars and slushies and, soda or pop, as we called it. In the Great White North. And yeah, we would get these big slushies. And what I love, and I think we've kind of talked about it, is we have convenience stores called Quick Trips.
Yeah, Quick Trips are amazing.
And they have everything.
They're so awesome.
Everything. And they expand every year.
And it's Quick Trip with a K, not with a Q.
Not with a Q. Fuck the Q.
Yeah.
And they're only I think they're in Wisconsin, I think
Minnesota.
in Iowa.
And Minnesota.
Too. But that's it. They haven't expanded any further. I hope that someday, before I'm an old lady, they do. But yeah, and they have so many different things. If you want an iced coffee, if you want a blended coffee, however you take your coffee, they have it.
Mm-hmm.
If you want whipped cream, if you basically a kind of a redneck Starbucks.
It was a gas station.
Yeah. But they also have, like I said, slushies, smoothies. They have donuts. They have a whole case of donuts. Cookies.
Donuts they make in-house.
Yeah.
Not like Krispy Kreme, quote unquote, delivering them frozen over. They are donuts. They make them. There's a kitchen in the back. They make donuts.
And
they made
to
the
work
pizza.
for 'em, so.
They made all the food in the back. Oh, it's such a cool
so
place.
it is an amazing place. So all of us young kids, when we're out and about,
I wish I would have had something like
riding
that as
bikes,
a kid.
riding bikes.
Had Snappy Mart, which is the lamest grocery, or not even grocery store, the lamest gas station in the world. Anyway,
yeah,
it has its own you can appreciate it for its own thing, but compared to a Quick Trip, I mean, shit. I wish I would have had a Quick Trip as a kid. Anyway,
yeah.
Go on.
So we would ride our bikes too. That was also another thing that I forgot. We would go through periods of time where all of us kids would ride bikes, everywhere we went. You had to have a bike to hang out. If you didn't, we were not gonna wait for you to walk. So yeah, we would walk up there. We would take our bikes to Quick Trip, and we would buy candy and food and whatever else we wanted.
That's
Slushies.
so cool. That's a good summer. That makes sense. We didn't, like I said, we didn't really have slushies. It was snow cones or popsicles. But popsicles were store bought. Popsicles you had at home. Snow cones is what you went out for. So we had snow cones. Didn't really have slushies or anything like that. So that was cool, and that was a big summer thing. And then of course, not really here in New Mexico. I never partook or enjoyed it here in New Mexico. But when we were in Wisconsin, carnival food.
Oh yeah.
And probably Midwest is the best place to get carnival food, to be honest. It's not going to be here anyway. Mini donuts. Cheese curds.
Fresh cheese curds. Funnel cake. Mm.
Yeah. All that.
Oh my God,
all
I
that
miss
terrible
it.
fried, heartburn-inducing shit. Giant corn dogs.
Sometimes literally shit.
Giant pieces of pizza. Giant corn dogs. Ridiculously phallic.
I want the
big dick corn dogs.
Gross. I miss
the best
the mini donuts.
But my favorite were fresh cheese curds and mini donuts.
Yeah. And you and I would pretty much spend all of our money on food.
Well, it was overpriced because it's a carnival.
Yeah.
So it was a carnival or a fair or a festival, so it was overpriced anyway.
Yeah.
But even more so.
You and I would always spend our money on food.
Mm-hmm. And it was so good.
Yeah.
And that's the ultimate summer food for me.
Yeah.
And that's probably the ones I miss the most. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because it's something that I couldn't even get today.
Yeah, no, we can't.
So, yeah. My heart is sad.
Yeah, well, this has been
This has been very
a bummer.
This has been a bummer. No. I mean, so does that sum up summer?
I think it does. I mean,
it's friends, it's freedom, it's hanging out, it's sleeping, it's staying up, it's food.
Yeah,
and
food.
It's hot, and it's fun, and it's a little sad.
It is a little sad. We'll never get that back.
Well, we have it now.
Not really.
I don't know. It's you make of it what you will. You know what I mean? So
That's true.
Make your own summer. You know what I mean? Get a fucking inflatable pool and fill it up inside your house. And just
don't do
do
that.
it.
Don't do that.
Just fucking
That's
enjoy it.
not
Enjoy
a good
summer.
idea.
It is
But
a good
yeah,
idea. Do it.
no, do not
do it.
Please do not do
Do
it.
it.
Disclosure, please do not do that.
it. You know what I mean? It's what you make of it. And if you're fucking stuck inside like everyone else, obviously, and like you should be, make of it what you can. Make summer and take it back because it's yours. And make it your own. Even now, even in these times, make it your own. And enjoy it. And look back on this maybe next year and we'll be like, that was crazy. Good thing we're outside now and together.
Yeah, I hope so. But we will see where we're at.
Thank you, everyone, for joining us on this podcast and through this journey and through summer. We still got a ways to go, and hopefully the rest of the summer is great. I'm sure we'll talk about it a little more.
We got some great ideas.
Yeah.
You and Joe might do a podcast, not alone, but mostly themed over your guys' cool experiences in middle school and elementary school. Just some fun episodes, too. Might go through our top 5 favorite movies.
Stop giving all the ideas away.
I'm just trying to entice them to keep coming back for more. That's true.
A teaser.
It is a teaser.
Okay, don't say any more then. You're just going to list everything, and then we're going to...
Oh, by the way, my top favorite movies now.
It's just a teaser.
Anyway, so we got some fun stuff.
Thank you for joining us. We do have some fun stuff coming up, and thank you for joining us through this. Again, follow us in other places so you keep in touch and so you know what's going on, even when we're not here on the podcast. And again, enjoy your summer. Make it your own. Do what you have to do. And because we still got some time left. We always have some time left. Let us know below, too, like crazy summer stories you have, things you remember, favorite things you remember about summer. That just when you think back on summer, what's just the first thing that sticks out in your mind, or second or third thing. And we'll go from there. Thank you so much for listening. We love you. I love you all very, very much. And please take care of yourselves. Please take care of each other. We'll see you next time.
Later.